But really, for you and I to talk about this, like, what do we need? What kind of processing power do they need? And way back when, the Remarkable One, which is still working well for a lot of people, has like 0.5 gigabyte of RAM and a single core processor, maybe dual core.
I think it's either single or dual. I can't remember.
Yeah, but it's a
they doubled it for the Remarkable 2, right?
Do these e-ink devices need to go the kind of direction that books is going? And they're giving us which isn't even a lot of RAM by Android standards. The books devices have 6 gigabytes of RAM now. That's by modern Android devices, that's not a lot. Do they need to go even further than that? I mean, what are your thoughts initially? Just
the nice thing is that the Supernote now has the ability to just be swapped in and out, right? Maybe less of an issue for them. But yeah, I guess the question Mr. was posing is that like these e-paper tablets, besides maybe the books, aren't super demanding, right? Like it's registering just like a single pen stroke at a time most of the time, maybe doing some other stuff. I know you can like hook up like Bluetooth keyboards to these, right, as well. Have you ever used one on it?
Yeah, on here it's slow. It is too slow. But
yeah.
I think that probably because it isn't so slow on, for instance, the Remarkable. I think they can probably do better.
Yeah,
but the typing isn't great on here.
And maybe that's what the
yeah. But I struggle to see the form factor that's going to be at this size. Do you think so? Basically, on the back here, this is the battery. And if you want to keep this device for a decade, which is the sort of aim of this type of thing, that will want to be replaced. That's gonna degrade in 3 to 4 years of constant use. That's the sort of time span of a battery, and it'll be fine. It'll still work at that point, but you won't get that sort of week and a half of charge that you will currently. The expandable storage that some people have needed and I haven't touched yet, haven't got there yet, but I will do at some point, I'm sure. But then actually, this module itself, that's the system on chip underneath there, and that could be actually swapped out. I don't know whether they've said that they have any plans for that, but actually it is something that could just come out by a user. You could get one shipped in and you could say, well, there's nothing wrong with the ink screen. The ink isn't going to move that fast. And that's a question. Will actually the ink screen be and the pen technology be obsolete more quickly? But that's kind of the only thing that couldn't be replaced on here is the ink screen.
Yeah. Regarding the screen, it's not the most intuitive because you would actually just get a whole new shell of the device with the screen in it, right? And then you could reuse your SoC, your battery, your card, whatever. But yeah, I mean, we talked about that in our last stream. I think we were discussing like if there would be a device that would have customization, and then like a month later, the Nomad came out.
Yeah.
Which is
it really is. It has exceeded expectations massively. And other ones, so what books are doing right now is they have GPUs. They call it Book Super Refresh technology, and they are using. It's not the most powerful, but they're using Snapdragon chips, which are, they're the ones that you get in the highest end kind of Samsung phones and everything like that.
The Tab Ultra C Pro is their most powerful, newest one, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So does that one use Snapdragon Gen 2 or Gen 3?
I'm not sure. I don't know exactly.
My guess is because it came out in the fall, right?
Android 12, so that probably tells you sort of where it is. When I did the research on it, I think it was about 3 years old.
Going back to your question about how much processing power do these need, I think we can agree that Remarkable, Supernote, Scribe really don't need that much, right? Books really is the one that's pushing the limits because they have the Book Super Refresh technology, and that requires, a decent GPU. But I do think at some point they will probably try to have a MPU in there, like a neural processing unit, just because those can do very like power efficient tasks. I don't have a Books device, but I've watched like all the reviews on them, including yours and some other people's. And one of the things is that they say is that Books Super Refresh does affect the battery life a lot.
Yeah, massively. It's becoming more of an objection for people actually. And I think people are really finding it. You are only getting really similar battery performance that you would get out of an ordinary LCD Android tablet. And that is not what we're used to with e-ink.
Yeah.
Especially since we've had now the Books 3 and we're like, oh, hang on a minute. I did really like this battery life and I don't miss the Books Super Refresh that much in daily use for note taking and reading.
Right.
That's the thing. And that Note Air 3, the black and white version, it doesn't have this amazing thing, which is what really is drawing everyone into books and what books have done for e-ink, which nobody else has emulated really, but they've missed out on something else that people loved, I think. And that's an interesting one. When you use that, and you'll have seen the kind of reviews where it's like, is there anything really wrong with this? No, this is black and white one is still like a perfect device for many users, and it's £100 cheaper, and you get great battery life. And okay, you have to do the occasional refresh of the screen a bit more often.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting one.
Just to finish, we were talking about the MPU there. So I know the new Snapdragon Gen 3, they've improved a lot of AI abilities on it. Maybe this year or beginning of next year, we'll maybe start to see more AI/MPU abilities with like maybe like ChatGPT integration or stuff like that. I mean, I know like on a Books device, ChatGPT already works, right? But that's solely because it's an app and it's using
cloud
processing power. But if it could be done locally on an MP, that would be very interesting.